Today is Sunday. It is time for our Dharma discussion. It is also time for us to provide feedback to help improve our activities. To help to be more suitable for all practitioners, new one and the season one. Also, it's time for us to remind the upcoming activities of the temple. This Saturday, this Friday afternoon, we will open the June retreat. It will start from the 7th to the 13th of June. And June 14th, Saturday, would be the common memorial day of all the practitioners that passed away, as well as their family member. To encourage everyone to memorize their family member who passed away, and also to give them the opportunity to make a connection with Patriot Zen. We welcome you to bring over your family member to join the Memorial Day. And also after that June retreat, on June 28th, it's a Saturday, we will also have a one-day retreat at Đăng Temple for the practitioners in the San Jose area to come to practice. So that is all of the upcoming retreat for June. After that, we will announce further activities. Right now, anybody have any question about practice? Please bring up your question. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. And it looks like either Sư cô Pháp Tuệ or thầy Pháp Từ has a question. Sư cô Pháp Tuệ. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Dear Thầy, dear all teachers and all Dharma friends, this morning when you talked about the practice, how I feel is when we practice, the practice is actually very simple. But when we talk about maintaining the practice uninterruptedly, we need to have this discussion and share our experience. But it has to be sincerely sharing our own mistake. I feel like only when we stay close to other people, then we will get this sincere discussion, and from then we will be able to see our mistakes and make changes and come back to keep our practice uninterruptedly. So only when we have the practice, then when we face the external conditions, then we will be able to feel how important the practice is to our path of liberation, and we just need to keep going, if, and collect the help and sharing of other people. In the past, when I first started this practicing this method, I heard a lot people said, when we practice this kind of method, but we don't have a teacher to always watch over us, then we are very easily get into the wrong path. And we easily get the sicknesses, the sickness that you mentioned in the morning. I feel like if we are not sincere on the practice and on the sharing of the experience, but we only use the form, the form of learning, the form of sharing, then it won't truly help our practice. It only increase our ego, our attachment to the knowledge, and also make the Dharma friends also have such attachment and knowledge. Even though at first we feel like it helps, but in the long run, it in return make the Dharma no longer work. Could you please talk more about this? Namo Shakya Muni Buddha. In reality, when we say the more seasoned people have the responsibility to instruct the newer people, but the newer people also need to have the mind of wanting to learn and wanting to practice according to the principle of the Dharma. Like in our daily life, if we respect our elder brother and sisters, then we will be able to develop our manners and our knowledge. But if we don't have such respect, then we will never be able to learn from them. We'll never be able to, have good manners. Even if we are very smart, then, but without the good morality, without a good virtue, then we won't be able to get anywhere. But rather than that, we rather want to have the virtue first. The virtue is the basic, as long as we have the virtue, and then from there we work diligently, then eventually we also reach success. Going back to learning Buddhism, we have to keep liberation as the ultimate goal. And according to the Dharma that the Buddha teach, liberation needs ending of attachment. So each step have to be very clear. If we just, care about our own attachment, anything go along with what we want, then we do it. Anything that go against what we want, we don't do it. Then we will be controlled by our own ego. We won't be able to see the view of, the people in the past, of the people who has more experience than us. Just like the parent have different view from the children, and we have to know from there and rely on them to learn from them. Don't just follow our own idea and make a guess, and won't be able to see deeply. We are limited by our ego, arrogance, and attachment, just like the sun is covered by the clouds. So the practice, we have to keep liberation as the most important thing. Don't chase after form, sound, fame, the external things. So the fame and the form are the stuff that influence us very strongly. So when we talk about discrimination on subject and object, the form, the fame we're referring to is like the object. If we do that, we always get stuck by the ignorance, between good, bad, right, wrong, align versus against. But what like the patriot said, when we see duality, then our view will be limited. But we never believe in what they say. Because they always have something for us to hold on to attach to. And that is very attractive, feel very attractive to our brain. And that's why we keep attaching to those instead of following the teaching of the Buddha to see the self-nature. Only when we see the self-nature, then we will be able to overcome the limitation of ignorance and attachment. And one way to end the attachment is to practice the Hoa meditation. So we use duality to show our limitation. So we have to find a way to end that duality. Like in the class, the teachers teach the same thing to everyone, but it doesn't mean that, for example, all the students in the class will be able to understand the same thing. When the teacher teaches something, the student can only understand a part of what they teach. A good student might understand, 70 to 80%. But it doesn't mean that when the teacher teaches something, everybody will understand completely. So, like when the teacher teaches something, each of the student might be able to understand different parts of what was taught. So when they get into a group and discuss with one another, then they can get feedback from one another to help each other to increase, to broaden their view. And once they get stuck, then all of them can go to the teacher to ask further. So that is to talk about working in group, in class, to help each other to learn further. So going back to Buddhism, the Buddha also understand that, and that's why he encouraged people to get together and to have more retreats. So this method is very clear. It was passed down from the Buddha to Mahakassapa, then to Master Ananda, up until the 28th patriarch of Bodhidharma. This method has its clear origination. It was passed down from the Buddha and the patriarch. And the principle of the patriarch Zen is to end attachment. It has its clear origination. It just doesn't come from nowhere. It's very different from what the scientists, say about our origination. but people tend to believe in science, in duality, instead of believe in their own true mind. So the passing down of the method, follow the right Dharma, the right principle. It combined the triple gems, in that the Sangha is represented by the patriots. And those three jewels depending on one another, and they go together. So Patriot Zen, it's very it has the continuation continuation from the beginning until now, passing down from the Buddha. Everything is very clear. Just like a student going to school and get a degree, that person has the record of all the classes that he passed, all the school that he went to, and got certified by the head of those school and those university. And also that person have to accumulate their experience in order to eventually get their own degree. They need to have enough of hours of experience for them to officially become, like, attain their profession, like become a doctor or become a professor. If they want to truly become a professor, they have to accumulate enough experience. So you can see that the worldly Dharma, even the worldly Dharma, is very strict on everything, let alone Buddhism. So same thing for Buddhism. We need to have the certification and the passing down from the a clear certification and passing down. So during the sixth patriarch, even though Master Huyền Giác was able to read Yumakak Sutra very well and be clear on a lot of things, but without a certification, without a guarantee of a patriarch, it doesn't guarantee that he got enlightened. So that certification is like, if we reach enlightenment and we got certified by a patriarch, we got, passed down the Dharma from the Buddha through many patriarchs, through us, then that is considered enlightenment. Or if we walk, clearly on the path of the right Dharma up until enlightenment, then that is considered true enlightenment. So when the sixth patriarch met Master Huyền Giác, he said that Master Huyền Giác has the same seeing like him, and encouraged Master Huyền Giác to try to spread the Dharma. So we have to learn from the example, and don't let our consciousness, our own likings to trick us. Don't just assume that something is correct because a lot of people follow it. All of those are just the form, the sound outside. It's just illusion. we already deluded. If we even accumulate more illusion from outside, then we just get further deluded. We want to move away from ignorance, If we, and in order to do that, we have to end the fundamental of the ignorance in order to reach liberation. So all of the teaching of the Buddha is to help us believe in the mind and to want us to move away from subject and object and stop the differentiation of duality. So the indirect method is, to just treat the conflict with the issue, versus the direct method is to right there move away from duality, subject and object. And in order to do that, we have to keep the doubt. The patriarch taught us very clearly, but we still don't believe, and we still keep chasing after discrimination, subject and object, and attachment. We always want to attain something, accumulate something more, etc. And if we don't have that, then we cannot accept. The Buddha has an example like the stick of ignorance, get stuck on the ground, and then the string got tied into the nose of the cow, and the cow, doesn't matter, we can just go play, and the cow still cannot be able to go anywhere. Doesn't matter what the cow doing, whether it's running, it's standing, it's sitting, the cow cannot move away from that stick that was deeply stuck into the ground. So the same thing applies to us. Doesn't matter what we do, we keep run within ignorance. So the knowledge is just like that string that tie into the cow's nose. Even if we have more knowledge, it's just like the string is a little bit longer, but still we still within that ignorance. And an enlightened person, sometimes people mistaken them as someone who is foolish, but in reality, we are still deluded. We will never understand the knowing of an enlightened person. An enlightened person can take any form, in order to help other sentient beings. So if we truly practice the right Dharma, we will eventually reach liberation. So we need to appreciate the Dharma and take use of all the time that we have to practice, and always learn from the teachers. Never give up. Learning is to help increase the belief in the mind, and the practice is to help overcome the challenges of the mind. So Ko says she's, thank you, Master. I would like to ask another question. Actually, chị Như Hiếu has a question. I would like to share my own experience. Dear Thầy, dear all Dharma friends, I'm not sure if this is uh, uh, um, conditions that against what I'm trying to do. Like last week, I planned to go to the temple, and then in the morning, my back hurt, and I wasn't able to go, and I was painful. It was so painful. I just stay home by myself without anyone taking care of me. But I still have to go to the pharmacy to get the stuff to help with my back. And today, this morning, I told myself I will go to the temple. But when I wake up, my back hurt again. And I really want to go, but this keep happening. Could you please help me, give me some advice? So all of the obstacles, like Master Lai Wei has example, there are obstacles outside of us, there are obstacles inside the body, there are obstacles outside of the mind, there are obstacles outside of the mind. All of the obstacles are to, deter us on our practice, deter our wholesome deeds. That's why we call them obstacles. But if we can overcome those obstacles, then we will be successful. We have a saying, if we want to attain the big thing, we have to not care too much about the small thing. So if birth and death is the greatest issue, so it's the biggest issue that nothing else can compare. Like we have been through birth and death for countless lives. Don't let our fear get into us, thinking, and discourage us from practice to liberate from birth and death. So even if you cannot come, you have to at least, keep practicing. Don't just give up on a practice. For example, you have something come up in the morning that you cannot come, or something come up that you didn't expect. For example, your car get broken, or there was a lot of traffic that you cannot come on time and miss the practice session, and some people just get discouraged and decide, let's just go back home or do something else because I will miss the practice session when I come there, but all of those are challenges, so even if there's only half an hour remaining, we will still come there to practice and not even calculating whether there's more time or less time. When you have such determination, then the practice is actually there. Like if you have the mind of helping the poor people, even if you don't have a lot, but even if you just have a little, but if you have such a strong mind, and if you still will offer even just a little thing. Like the Buddha taught a story about a lady that she was so poor, and she knows that the reason why she's poor because she was so stingy in her previous life, and in order to overcome this poorness, she had to uh, find a way to do charity. And she told herself that it's not easy to meet the Buddha, so I have to find a way to offer something to the Buddha. But I don't have anything, so she decided to cut her hair, to sell her hair so that she can do offering to the Buddha. So the Buddha has a light when he was teaching everyone, and after he's done with the teaching, they turn off all the light, but there was one light that they couldn't turn off, and the Buddha said, because the person who offered the lamb, she has such a strong mind of giving, and therefore the light could not be put off. So when the Buddha thought that it's a way for him to teach the Dharma of the giving. When we offer giving, we have to appreciate the offering. Don't just like it when people offer you more, and don't dislike when people offer you less. It's all depending on the mind of the person who do the offering. Like such lady, she has such a strong mind. That's why her lamp cannot be put off. While the other people, even though they offer the bigger lamp, their light still be put off. So that is a story too about the Dharma of giving of offering. So it all depends on the mind. It doesn't mean that you have to practice the whole day, the whole week, in order to generate a merit. Even if you practice just a little bit, and come home, your effort of going to the temple and going home is still count towards the merit. So don't worry that you it won't count into the merit, because you can only spend a little bit of time to practice. If we just calculate, how much time we will be here to practice, etc., that wouldn't be considered a sincere mind. For example, some people just say, "Oh, today it's too hot, it's too tiring, I don't want to come. I want to wait until the weather is easy for me to come." That would be considered sincere. For example, some people even, uh, uh, they think, "Oh, I don't want to come because the food today is not good." That means their mind is also not sincere. If we truly see the impermanence, the no intrinsic self, if we truly understand that it's very difficult to have this human body, very difficult to listen to the Dharma, then we will try our best and never give up. Like our um grand our ancestors always say, even if I cannot walk, I will crawl to the place, I will not get this opportunity go into waste. So the patriarch also has a story, like we have to always practice and always learn. There was a story about doing charity as well, about a young lady. She was poor and her parent passed away very early. But this lady has a blessing that, later on she will become a queen. So when he come to do the offering, at the beginning, her mind is very strong that she would like to offer anything to the three jewels, as long as the three jewels need something in order for it to continue to exist, then she will offer any of that, even if she has to sacrifice her life. Her mind is very strong. So when she came, she only bought, a few kilograms of rice. So she only leave a little bit at home of rice at home, and then bring almost everything to give the offering. So when she do that, the abbot see the offering, and he came in front of the gate to say hi to her, to welcome her. And the abbot told her that I can see your sincere mind to the triple gems, so I welcome you and teach you the Dharma talk, and do some rituals for her. And after she came out of the temple, she accidentally saved a person who got injured, and that injured person was actually a prince, a crown prince. And a few days later, the crown prince became the king and came back to find the lady to pay gratitude, and he brought her home and make her the queen. But after she became the queen, her mind changed. She still want to do offering, still remember the temple in the past, that because of the offering that she got the blessing of become the queen. So she asked her servant to bring a lot of the rice, like and also bring a lot of gold and silver, like to bring tons of rice to the temple. But then she didn't see the abbot to come and say hi to her and welcome her. She started to get angry. And she asked the abbot, why didn't you come to welcome me? And the abbot told her that your previous mind, when you do the offering, your mind was very pure and sincere, versus your mind right now is not as sincere. It doesn't have such value. You don't have such a sincere mind to reach the Dharma, so I don't think it's necessary to teach her anything further. So when the queen listened to that, she started have a realization, and she realized that her ignorance and attachment got her deluded. And she decided to do the repentance, and from there she make a vow that she have to find a way to practice the Dharma in order to reach liberation. So all of those are stories that was taught from the patriarch. So for us, we to practice Buddhism, we need a sincere mind, a mind to truly want to learn and practice Buddhism in order for us to reach liberation. That liberation and enlightenment actually is inside of us, within us, not outside. But we don't know about that. We keep, running around, going here and there, wasting our energy. So without the reminder of the wise teachers, it's almost impossible to reach complete liberation. So we have to always appreciate the Dharma and diligently practice. Do you understand? Nam Mô Buddha. You said very clear. I understand. I feel very painful, but I still doing sitting meditation. I understand all of your teaching. Thank you, Thầy. The time is up. Goodbye, everyone. Nam Mô Shakyamuni Buddha.